Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Not Cerberus and I'm one of your World Warship Legends community contributors, and this is my review of the Tier 3 German premium battleship Nassau. Before I continue, this is my first video review, so if it comes across as a bit amateurish and a bit rough around the edges, that'll be why. But if you leave any constructive feedback below, I'll take it on board when I do my next review. So, Nassau. She was laid down in 1907, launched in 1908, and she was the lead ship of her class, and it was the first of a new generation of battleship for the Imperial German Navy. She was originally planned to be named Bayern, and she entered service in 1909, displacing just over 18,500 tons. An often overlooked and interesting fact was that similarly to the US South Carolina class battleships, Nassau and her sister ships were being developed before HMS Dreadnought's design was finalised. Nassau's primary armament consisted of 12 283mm guns, or 11 inches, mounted in 6 pairs around the ship, with one each up fore and aft and 2 pairs per wing. The ship's secondary armament consisted of 16 88mm guns and 12 150mm guns, and while the actual ship also had torpedoes, these are not reflected in game. During World War I, she featured in several fleet battles, including the Battle of the Gulf of Riga, where she was involved in a firefight with the Russian pre-dreadnought battleship Slava. In 1916, she took part in one of the most famous battles in naval history, Jutland. Nassau, along with her sisters, formed part of the 1st Battle Squadron. During the engagement, Nassau narrowly avoided 2 torpedoes fired from HMS Caroline, one of which passed right underneath her without exploding, and later she traded shots with HMS Warspite. She was also involved in a collision with the British destroyer HMS Spitfire, having failed to eliminate her with her main guns. Both ships actually survived and returned to port later the next day. When night fell, Nassau, along with her sister ship Rhineland and the battleships Ostfriesland, Friedrich der Grosse and Thüringen, engaged and sank the Royal Navy armoured cruiser HMS Black Prince, which had become isolated from the main force. Nassau and the remainder of the High Seas Fleet were scheduled to take part in the Naval Order of 24th of October 1918, days prior to the armistice coming into effect. However, low morale and mutinies aboard several ships meant that this operation was cancelled. Nassau was ceded to Japan as part of the war preparations in 1920, however, as the Japanese had no use for the ship, she was sold for scrap in June 1920. Before we get into some gameplay, let's take a look at what makes this ship tick in Legends. So Nassau is available in the game store for 4,000 balloons currently. She will be leaving the store on Monday, I do believe, so if you want to get your hands on her, you will need to get a shimmy along. However, those of you who are on Xbox, you guys are in for a little bit of luck, because if you go to your Microsoft store, which I'm not going to go that way, I'm going to go in the quicker way, you'll find a bundle called the Gunfighters. Now, if you don't have Xbox Games Pass Ultimate, it is available for £41.99. If you do have Xbox Games Pass Ultimate, you can pick this game. You can pick up this bundle for free, and with it, you will get the Tier 3 battleship Nassau, her permanent camouflage, Tier 5 cruiser Buglioni, permanent camouflage for Buglioni, plus 7 days of premium account. Naturally, if you've already got all the items in here, you'll get some compensation, but it's not in the form of doubloons this time. It is in the form of credits. So I was quite lucky that I had this ship from the actual event last year, and I've also already got the Buglioni and her permanent camouflage, so I got myself a nice chunky 15.7 million credits, which is very nice and very convenient, especially because I was running low on funds. Speaking of camouflages, as you can see, the camouflage is quite gaudy, so if it's not your kind of thing, you can go to your settings, go to customization, click disable. What it will do, it will remove the visuals for the camouflage, but you'll retain the perks and the benefits. So even though it just looks plain to your eyes, that 4.5% nerf to enemy accuracy and 4.5% buff to your concealment, it'll still be in effect, so you still get all the benefits of the camouflage even though you can't physically see it. So in terms of build, I have gone a full hybrid accuracy secondary build. That's not because the ship is particularly inaccurate, it's just because I'm too lazy to keep changing my skills over. So this might not necessarily be the optimum build, but it's what works for me. I'm using Henry Hyde as my main commander, and on him we have Flammable Cannoneer, Porcupine, Marksmanship, Master Mechanic, and I have left these two blank deliberately because this commander's not maxed out. If I was to accidentally pick one of these skills because of the level he is at, I would go for Farsight. But if you've got a really low level Henry J. Hyde commander, I would recommend going running with Scissors just so you don't lose that one extra hit charge of repair party you get from Master Mechanic level 3. So if you don't have Master Mechanic level 3 on there, stick with running with Scissors. Obviously you can go as Brawl if you wish. It won't make too much of a difference with this particular ship in terms of accuracy or in terms of range, because the range for most games you will be in this ship is going to be fairly... Most ships are going to be in range anyway. I have Andrew Cunningham and Franz von Hipper. Again, it's purely because I'm too lazy to change the builds every time I want to play a different ship, and this is my default German commander, so it is what it is. When it comes to upgrades, this ship has plenty of them. Like Arkansas, she gets access to 4 upgrades. So she's got the Aiming Systems Mod 1, Secondary Battery Mod 2, which is my preferred choice for this one. Main Battery Mod 2 as well. Steering Gears Mod 2, Propulsion Mod 2, Damage Control Mod 2, with Steering Gears being my preferred one here as well. Target Acquisition, well, that's the only one in this slot. And I've gone Secondary Battery Mod 3, although unusually for a non-American ship, she does get access to Artillery Plotting Room. She's also got access to Main Battery Mod 3 as well. Bear in mind that these ones are 3 million a piece, so to fully upgrade this ship with all particular modifications, it can be quite costly. I think it's in the region of about 6 million, about 6 million, 5.5 maybe, somewhere around about there. In terms of stats, well, I've got the consumables first. So this particular build, 15-second damage control duration, 8-second reload, pretty standard run-of-the-mill stuff. Repair party is 2 to 1 per second for 28 seconds with a reload time of 73.6, and I've got 5 charges. So that's quite nice, especially if you're taking a fair bit of fire damage or HE damage, because they're the two highest damage you can repair the most. In terms of stats themselves, the ship is quite squishy with maximum hit points of my particular build as 37,310, although I think base it's actually more around 35,000. Obviously with Commander Hyde you do get the little percentage increase of your ship's hit points. Armour 13mm to 400mm, nothing really much to write on about. Torpedo damage reduction 13%, which kind of makes the part of the overview description, which we'll look into in a moment, a bit misleading, but we'll get into that as in a moment. Artillery wise, she has the 6 dual 293mm guns, as I mentioned in the introduction. I have 14.3 km range, 22.2 second reload time, 51.4 second turret reverse time. So that turret reverse is really quite painful, especially for having the smallest caliber guns at the tier. However, with that can be very easily mitigated, which we'll go into in a moment as well. Heishi Shells, they're pretty crap to be honest. 3200 Heishi Shell damage, 90% chance to set fire. In most circumstances, you're probably just best sticking into AP, if I'm totally honest. The AP shells for this particular build is 7,200. You have 16 88mm guns for your secondary armament. They are split into 2 different types, but in total it's 16 88mm guns. With this particular build again having 7.3 km range, 3.2 second reloads on those 88mm guns, 4% chance to set fire, and 1,000 HE shell damage as well. The ship is also armed with 12 150mm AP guns. They have a 7.3 km firing range as well, and a 6.9 second reload time. Now those AP guns can in fact citadel light cruisers. And in fact, there is a moment in one of my games which I didn't pick up on until I watched it back after my commentary, in which you can actually see that happening. There's the Phoenix that gets citadeled by an AP shell from my secondary armament. Max speed, 23 knots. She's pretty speedy for a Tier 3 battleship. She has a turret reverse. Get my words out, Cerberus. Turn and circle radius of 510 meters, which isn't too shabby as well. It's fairly nifty and nimble for a ship at this tier. Rudder shift time 9.6 seconds, so that's kind of had a bit of a benefit from the steering gear mod and a bit of a nerf because of the what skill is that does it? Marksmanship. Is it marksmanship that does that? Yes, marksmanship decreases your shift time a little bit. Concealment wise, she's a battleship. You're going to be spotted. 0.5 kilometer detection by sea, 9.6 kilometer detection by air, 2 kilometer detection with guaranteed detectability range. Although if you come across an Arkansas or another Nassau, there's a possibility you'll get detected at 3 kilometers if they are running the tag acquisition mod. Detectability while firing in smoke screen, 8.6 kilometers, fairly run-of-the-mill stuff. You do have 11-inch guns after all. Let's have a quick look at the overview. So the traits that are assigned to this particular ship are agile, which means she has an above average ability to change direction, and she also has modest guns. This means that she is armed with low caliber main caliber. Get my words out, Cerberus. This ship is armed with low caliber main battery guns, and the overview description, which is somewhat a little bit misleading, given one of the stats. The lead ship in the first series of dreadnought battleships of the Imperial German Navy. This battleship was notable for reliable armour, good torpedo protection, and a powerful secondary battery. She carried 283mm guns that in many aspects almost matched larger caliber gun systems adopted by other navies of the world. She entered service in 1909, and there were 4 ships in the series. So, statistically, the great big fib that Wargamer tells us right here is good torpedo protection, because her torpedo protection is trash in game. Like so many torpedo protection systems that are featured in game, particularly around like King George, Colorado, they all have really good torpedo protection systems. But for whatever reason, Wargame decided, oh, let's give them a big whack with a Nerf hammer. So, in terms of gameplay, the trick to Nassau is simply to keep moving. She's fast enough, she's agile enough for you to keep constantly adjusting course, and that adjusting your course will help preserve your limited pool of hit points by allowing you to bounce shells fairly reliably, which is something you really want to do, because having less than 40,000 shells on a 40,000 hit points on a battleship, it's not fantastic. And as much as you're going to be able to punish unsuspected and unwary prey, equally they're going to be able to punish you if they catch you with your pants down. So yes, also the other factor you've got to consider is that your turret reverse is appalling for the size of your guns. More than 50 seconds is really pretty bad, even for the best of ships. And the way to mitigate that is by jiggling the ship's arse around a little bit. As I say, you can get most of the guns on one side off, and then you can swerve the ship around, get most of the guns on the other side off as well. Like Scharnhorst, of which she shares the same caliber guns, those inches really do make a difference. So even though you're only 1 inch shorter or have 1 inch less caliber in your guns than some of your compatriots, that inch makes all the difference. So you're not going to be penetrating battleships at long range. What you want to do, you want to get into the fray, use your angles, use your agility to punish them at point blank range, and you'll have quite a substantial number of secondaries backing you up whilst you're doing that as well. If you can, if this is as best you possibly can, you will be quite successful in most instances, even with the lower penetration of the guns. If they are presenting a better angle, try and aim for the upper belt armour. You should have no problems doing most of that. Be very wary of destroyers, because although you do have quite good agility and you can probably outturn some destroyers, that 13% torpedo damage reduction is not your friend, and it will hit you in the arse really rather quickly if you're not careful. Another problem with Nassau is that she does struggle against multiple targets at once. You can typically manage to mitigate against 2, possibly even 3 targets, but the moment you start getting focus fired and become the centre of attention, you're in big trouble, because you can't possibly angle your armour against every single ship that's shooting at you. So situational awareness, being mindful of what's going on around you, avoiding stopping or standing still are going to save your life, because no matter how many heals you have, and this particular build of mine has 5 of them, it's not going to make you a god. It'll help you against fire spam, flooding damage, HE spam as well, and it may help you from some minor AP shells. But from citadels and consistent damage, that hit point pool is gonna whittle away really rather quickly. There's no real point in specking it for concealment because the concealment, well, she's a battleship, let's face it, and she has a relatively short range on her guns, and the maps which she'll be facing and playing on are generally quite short range anyway, so it doesn't matter how much concealment you're going to spec into it, you're going to lose out eventually. Another thing to make note is try and avoid field divisions with this ship. Whilst these guns are okay for dealing with tiers 2, 3 and at 4 at push, at tier 5 they become really poor and really lackluster. So you want to avoid field divisions where possible, so try and stick to tiers 3 or even tier 2 for your division mates. She does have nice reloads, so you can use that to your advantage. When you're spinning the ship around from left to right to get the guns on target, you'll find that by the time you swung the ship back round again, your guns are almost ready to fire again. So you can pretty much keep up an almost constant stream of fire, depending on how you're playing the ship and how you're angling. So I do have 2 games lined up for you. Neither of them are particularly fantastic. They're solid games, but they're not outstanding. I did this deliberately because I don't want to just make it look like that I'm a god in the ship, which I'm not. I think I'm pretty good, but I'd rather show you some games which showcase the ship with its warts and as well as some of its strengths. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So we have our first game. It is on a big race to capture the base. We are top tier and we are up against Wyoming, Kaiser, Phoenix, Karlsruhe, St. Louis, Bogatia, Wakeful, V170 and Wicks. Some nice beauty shots of the Nassau itself and a bit of detail on the guns. About to start. This bit's always a bit boring. And away we go. Up to 3/4 speed. Pan the camera around to look at the position of the teams. And we're going to head straight into the thick of the fray, I think. Quick check of the map. Everything's okay. No one's reversing, thank God for that. I'd be a bit worried if they were reversing at tier 3. We are currently escorted by what appears to be a Tenryu. Not sure I think it's and we spotted our first victim, Wyoming, who is making a hasty silence. No way, they're not just my shots, they're not that many shots. Somebody else must have fired at the same time. Blast, just one hit. Oh look, there's a Bogatia appeared out of nowhere. A friendly smoke screen being laid. They're gonna hit. One penetration. A little bit of penetration, but that did much more damage for some strange reason. Peculiar. What else? Oh, we've got destroyer to our right. We've got another battleship here behind those islands. Second is going nice little salvos on him. Wild torpedoes appeared. Looks like they're aimed at one of the battleships. Oh, it looks like I actually hit with a cruiser. Karlsruhe, right now. That's my little friend. Well, it's disappointing. Okay, we're going to go from here. Left or right? Left or right? Right looks clear. This is me. Of course I'm going to go left. I like to get stuck into the frame of these various appreciative shells, shout at people and demand when they go push in. I like to get stuck in the fight himself. Oh, got to destroyers back again. Leave our destroyers to do it because there's 2 destroyers right next to us, so hopefully they'll be able to handle the destroyer, no problem at all. 70. That should be no challenge. Ease. This guy just keeps our friend destroyer. Campbelltown, right. St. Louis. Have I introduced you to my level 1? I'll introduce you to heavy German firepower, eh? Oh, you do have a system. That's nice. Well, you're still regretting your life choices, aren't you? Second open the game. Let's sell out. Riches up the ass. Ooh, look, Phoenix is into the frame. Let's see if we can bring some nice guns, nice shells into him. Oh, that was the Citadel with the AP. The Citadel. Missed that one. Oh, you killed students on the twat. I mean, GG, screw the kill. Some shit, 2 shots down. To that Kaiser. Nice, 3 penetrations. St. Louis has got support as well. Looks like that Kaiser's about to get some support from his Wyoming friend as well. Okay, looks like we're going to go into a gunnery duel. Signed by the Carl's True, which no one's killed. I should probably finish that thing off, but whatever. Bigger fish to fry. Nice shots down range. Are they going to nuke him? What was that? That was 6,000 a bit damage. Not too shabby, maybe 7,000. 64 so far. Mostly misses. Allow me to introduce you to some German engineering. 10,000 damage, that's nice. Confederate high caliber as well, very nice. Looks like the Calcium got eliminated by the destroyer. Wyoming just got eliminated by the destroyer. Can we secure this kill, or are we going to have it secured from us? Taking fire from both Warships. Looks like the DD, St. Louis, and another DD as well. Side wiggle. Give me that shots in before I go for the kill. Just got missed. Second is still going. He missed as well. Another second hit. Come on, come on, come on. Yes! No! Bugger! Another go. Get it. No, still no. How are you just stop with a bitch? We got him. Game over. Hooray! And not a bad game. 83,205 damage, Confederate high caliber, top of the team. I'm happy with that. So here we are on the second game, and we are on Archipelago. I've got my community contributor Camouflage on. It's rather dashing, if I do say so myself. This game was actually taken before the previous one, but it's a better game, so I figured I'll show you this one as the final showpiece to end the video on. And he's just check out the Camouflage because it looks pretty snazzy. Start the battle now, and up to full speed. Here we go. Check out the teammates. Reasonable selection. We've got a pretty balanced team. The enemy team has one Miscreant, one Destroyer. It shouldn't be too much of an issue though, realistically. Right. Steady she goes, I think the phrase is. That CC camouflage really does look quite sexy. We have our first tag up ahead, and just a quick check on the team. So this is Ichi, or Ichizuchini, or whatever kind of name you want to call it. Spotted already. There's a destroyer nearby. More than likely. Shells down range. Quite a lot of firepower coming in my direction. I suspect I'm having to do the patch that I now have shown, or had shown in that particular game. Okay, so G101 next to us. Hopefully he'll be able to provide a little bit of fire and support. Those shells will ricochet off the side of the armour there. My aim is pretty shockingly bad, I'm not gonna lie. But so is his aim. Or either RNG's has been a complete bitch. Probably a mix of the two, to be fair. First speck of damage. So let's see if we get some nice hits on him. Nice big hit, 4,200 damage. It's not too shabby. Another ricochet. Turn salvo. Ooh, that's one looking smoke screen. There's two destroyers there. Try and angle whilst we're dodging these torpedoes. Secondaries are all lighting them up. Just be nice if we had a bit more action in our secondary guns, I won't lie. Some more shots down range of the Suzuki. Two ricochets on the shatter. He's nicely angled. St. Louis speeds out of nowhere. Along the Wakataki. Oh, look, more torpedoes. Fun. Yeah, I'm definitely the centre of attention here. The secondaries are doing a little bit down to the St. Louis. It's not too bad. St. Louis is now bow on. Can't ricochet my shells. I open my quite nicely. 7,000 damage. Wakataki. St. Louis still there. Take our first significant chunk of hit points damage. Another shell straight on the bow of the St. Louis. And he eats those torpedoes like a night. And here we have one of the most special ones in this particular match. We have two destroyers just sat staring at each other. You notice how I haven't switched to Heishi? That's purely because Heishi is very mediocre, so I'd rather just try and get some decent damage with the AP, and plus it saves having the contest between armor types as well. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that guy was shooting at, but whatever. These are the enemy team, not mine. And he eats those torpedoes. Some more pitters coming my way from the Wakataki, who looks like he's got the special Halloween camouflage on. Take one on the nose, but one's fine. Not too much issue. Isuchi's still alive. Let's see if we can take care of that. Ooh, salvo from starboard. I wonder what that is. We'll find out in a moment, I suspect. Another 1,800 damage on the Ichi. Secondaries are still going like crazy, but we've only had 38 hits so far. Oh, more torpedoes. But here you can see the maneuverability of the Nassau in full force as well. Not many battleships will be able to avoid those torpedoes. Some more second hits on the Isuchi. They seem to be burning away quite nicely. We've got high explosive blow just to try and see if we can get some hits and damage on his angled armour. Sadly, we've got misses and shatter by the looks of it. Another shatter, another shatter. Let me make a 4 for 4. Oh, 5 for 5. RNG giveth, RNG taketh away. Oh look, more torpedoes. That destroyer really wants my bum. Ichizuchi is still a pain in the ass. There we go, finally got him. And we have a Kaiser. That was what was whacking me for a significant portion of my hit points, as you can see. Just as I said earlier on,
not angling the armour, you'll take that really easily in Nassau. She's quite squishy. We've got more torpedoes coming in, and the Kaiser missed his return salvo. He's taking hits from somebody else. Well, he's now going full broadside from the angle. Yep, we angled. He's getting most of those hits. Nice. Salvo out, 3,000 damage. He's got high explosive coming in now. He's taking one of those torpedoes. He's in trouble. And those shots missed completely. Now in second range with him. My secondaries are still lighting them up quite nicely. Taking the salvo, 30 damage from me. Return salvo on him though was 3,000, which is quite nice and chunky. And he's me failing trying to get the people to go defend the base. Because of the unique way this command wheel works, it defaulted to trying to get me to say defend DD. But, oh well. Broadside to Battleship Sunshine. That's paddling. It's burning down nicely. We should be able to finish off the next salvo or two though. One shell down. One salvo down, sorry. Bogateer's fire got him. Still can't quite get to the defend the base, but whatever. Right, now we need to just go full pelt towards the base, I think. And we leave our destroyer to manage the destroyer. Should be able to easily take on a Wakataki in G101. The Wakataki can be quite easily outgunned, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Let's go support our Wakataki. There's the Carl Shrew. He's trading shots with the Destroyer. Is it Wakataki? Did I just say Wakataki? No, I keep saying Wakataki. It's a nice word. Ooh, so we've got the Carl Shrew, we've got V170, and we have another battleship. Apologies for the noise in the background. My cat's being stupid, and there are also people on the street being loud. Oh, in Arkansas. That's a scary salvo. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. We're in trouble. Okay. Shuts out Arkansas. Let's see if we can get a nice hit on him. 2,000 damage. That's not too shabby. Maybe I've said that twice now. Or 3 times. 1 or 2. Easily was stupid. Shots out from the other side of the ship. Wasn't too bad. Could be much worse. Ooh, 3,700. Come on. Where is the V170 going to launch his torpedoes? He's going to prioritise me, or is he going to prioritise the Cubert? Got his rudder. Or was that his engine? Confederates. Oh, he's prioritising the Cubert. Some shots out from behind. I think that's the Bogateer. Okay. Come on, V170. Say hello to my friends. Oh, that was a nice smack. Let's see if we get the shot out on this so I can finish him off. Apparently no. RNG says no. There's no to that. Right, can we finish off the V170? Or are we going to be robbed of a second kill? I think we're going to be robbed from a second kill here. Yeah. But that was a win. There goes the Dreadnought. So we've got the High Caliber, Dreadnought, and Confederate. So that's not a bad game at all. You know, after I finished recording that commentary, I suddenly realised that that game wasn't the best of the 2 games. So the first couple of lines of that particular commentary were a complete and utter lie. Never mind. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed my review. I hope you've learned some stuff. And hope you found it informative. It's certainly been an experience putting together this video. It's been very long-winded, and in fact I was supposed to have been streaming about 3 hours ago by the time I finished this video, so it is what it is. If you have enjoyed the video, please do hit that follow button on Facebook and hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Let's see if we can get past 100 subscribers so we can get that custom URL. If you have any constructive feedback or comments you want to make, please leave them in the comments below. I'll endeavour to look at them and make adjustments to the videos going forward. But on that note, again, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to check out my other channels, whichever one you're watching on. So if you're watching on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/not_Cerberus. I have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Not Cerberus, and YouTube doesn't have a URL just yet, so just type in Not Cerberus on the YouTube search bar and you'll find me eventually. Thank you for watching, take care, bye for now, and I'll catch you next time.